Hello Amazon.com, it's me, Beau. I am coming to you today with this external monitor. It's about 15 inches and it is super thin. So thin and lightweight, I'm actually using this gooseneck arm that's clamped to my desk, and that arm is originally designed for an iPad, but I'm just using it to clamp my monitor on here and using it as an external monitor. Now I haven't plugged it in quite yet because I actually want to show you from square one what it looks like when you initially plug it in. Now do keep in mind that I am first of all using this little Mac adapter. See this little plastic thing right there coming out of the Thunderbolt or mini display port on the back of my iMac, and then it's going into an HDMI cable, and then that full HDMI is going into a mini HDMI cable, which sort of looks like this little guy right here. So this is not the full-size HDMI, this is the little small miniature guy. See how little that is? Okay, all right, so you're probably gonna need that cable right there in order to make this work. Odds are you're gonna need a longer cable just because you're probably going to be, you know, getting some tape and wrapping it around just so that there's aren't cables like strewn about. See how I'm kind of trying to tie that in there? Okay, so it just doesn't get in the way. Then you're also, so that's the actual display that you're putting into the monitor, but then you're gonna have to power the monitor, which you do so using the included USB-C type cable. But in my particular instance, I actually went out and got a longer one of these guys because of course I needed like a, actually the 3 foot should actually work quite nicely, but that USB-C is plugged into a regular USB size. So that is powering the monitor. So those are the only 2 cables that I personally have putting into my monitor, my external monitor, to actually get it going. Okay, so let's go ahead and so all the ports are on the side over here. You'll see that there's the power port. You'll see type C, HDMI 1, HDMI 2. So I'm going to want to plug in the power port, which is the USB-C. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. Come on, get in there. That's the nice thing about these gooseneck type stands, is that you can kind of manipulate them and push them around. Now you can barely see that little blue light right there? That means that it is powered on. If that light is red, that means that it is on standby mode. So in about, is it 20, 30 seconds or so, that blue light will probably go into standby mode, so red, if I don't get a signal in there fast enough. All right, so I'm gonna get my little mini HDMI, and I'm gonna just plug it into any one of these ports right here, HDMI 1 or HDMI 2. Let's just choose one, shall we? So we're gonna plug that on in right there. It is. Okay, so now both of them are in, and oh, I just saw a little flicker on my iMac, and look at that, it automatically detected it. Now, initially when I plugged this in, I was having some issues. It wouldn't automatically detect it, and it wouldn't show up over here. And that wasn't the fault of the monitor. I actually thought it was the monitor and I was about to return it, but it's not. It was actually a faulty one of these adapters that was coming out the back of my iMac. So yeah, I just got made sure that that was working, and lo and behold, now it immediately detects it right over there. So this is my point of view, what it looks like when I'm kind of working. I usually have my email up over there. Let's go ahead and just drag a, I don't know, maybe a YouTube video over there, and we're gonna push play, and we're gonna crank up the volume. You can actually charge this, but I really just wanted to kind of set it and forget it. So this is my setup right here, and then that's plugged in elsewhere. There is, what I've been told, a fairly... We're gonna pause that. So as you can see, the resolution is pretty good. Do keep in mind there is a bit of a glare on there. You kind of see my reflection, see me waving. So if you have like quite a bit of window space behind you, you might get some reflection. So just keep that in mind. If you are straight on, like on your iMac, it doesn't really matter, but you know, just once you start to get that angle, that glass can kind of give you a bit of that glare. Okay, but so far it works magnificently. Probably the cheapest way for me to get an external monitor hooked up to my computer. It's kind of nice because they're slightly two different color profiles. So when I'm editing a video, I can put it on there and be like, well, what's it gonna look like on a different monitor, instead of rendering it out and trying to put it on my phone or a different laptop. I just kind of drag it over there and I'm like, oh man, that's way too much contrast. I gotta play with the color a little bit more. So it really is handy having an external monitor, especially something that's so lightweight and you can adjust around and move using that gooseneck clamp that's on the top and bottom. I will put this clamp in also in the description below. Do keep in mind that this is completely maxed out because so this clamp actually extends quite a bit all the way down to like an iPhone type size, but this is extended all the way out and I barely squeezed this monitor in there. It does fit. I mean, it didn't ruin the monitor. It's not like that harsh of a squeeze, but just keep in mind that it might take some finagling to get this monitor in there. And once it's in, you're good to go. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so lastly, in regards to this little portable monitor, is you got a whole bunch of buttons on the side. You probably can't see it very well because they're pretty small little buttons, but we've got input, menu, up, down, so that actually you're able to navigate the menu using those buttons. And lastly, the power button. Again, if you hold the power button down, the little light on the other end will turn red, okay? I guess that's the only downside to this monitor is I wish the power light was on this side where the actual power button was. It's kind of counterintuitive to hold this down and then try to peek on the other side and see if it's actually on or off. It just makes a lot of sense to put the power light on the same side as the power button. But I'd say that's the only thing. Overall, it works perfectly for my use. A very economical way to get an external monitor up there, just to have my email there, or maybe even a YouTube video that with just some study music going on in the background, and then I'm able to do my work on this side right over here. How cool is that? All right, my name is Beau. Hopefully this is helpful in determining if this is the right portable external monitor for you. I will leave a link to this guy in the description so you can look at other reviews and whatnot. But for my purposes, really pleased how it turned out. Initially, I didn't think it would turn out, but lo and behold, this little guy down there was the culprit. So make sure that if you are going from Mac to this monitor, make sure that that is actually operating. Lastly, if you are getting any kind of strobe effect, well not strobe, it's kind of, let's say you're moving your mouse around and about every 10 seconds, your mouse kind of jumps or freezes, that's because this little guy is faulty coming out the back. And for some reason, your Mac will not like that. I just unplugged it and plugged it back in and it works just fine. But if you're getting your mouse kind of when you just rotate it around like this, pretty much exactly every 10 seconds, it might freeze and it's really annoying. And then after just a half of a second, it goes back to normal. And it really bothered me at first. But again, that wasn't the monitor. That's actually that little display adapter. So make sure you have a quality one of those. All right, so that's it. Catch you later.